remember depression. But those days were tough, and I was blessed. I had two nice, caring parents, and in particular, my mother was very insistent, you've got to go to college. You've got to get out of this poor country and do something. As it happened, I was the first of three other brothers, all of whom managed to graduate in the College of Agriculture at the University of Illinois. There have been a few times when I've been blessed. I know my brother Clark can remember, I think it was 1936, we moved to a little, kind of a poor little patch of 88, and our couple of milk cows managed to get into a wooded area and eat a plant called white snake root, which is poison. And for about 3 days, our little country doctor, Dr. Parmenter, from a little town of Kingsburg, stayed in our home, and he's 5 of us were at death's door. And I remember he said he made a comment to someone, I think I can save 2 of them. But anyway, we all survived. And during the latter years of the Depression, 1930s, my mom and dad and I, we managed to scrape together $20 for me to go to college. $20.
Wow.
And I was fortunate enough to have taken the county scholarship exam. Back in those days, the county would give a scholarship, one for agriculture, one for home economics each year from each county. So fortunately, I got the scholarship from our county in ag. And just to show you how times have changed, that total scholarship for 4 years was worth $450. But anyway, when you were in college in those days, all male students were required to take ROTC. And as an outgrowth of that, I was able to go on through basic training, went through the officer candidate school at Fort Sill, graduated from the gunnery school, and had in hand, this is just one of my blessings of my life, in hand an order to report back to Fort Benning as an instructor at their candidate school, 10-day leave. Well, I've known this girl, we had been going together, so I called and said, well, if I come home, can we get married? Yes. Came home. She came back to the fort with me, and I thought we'd have a nice day. Reported in, got a new little envelope, and said, we're sorry, but we need second lieutenants in the infantry. Report to Fort Benning. Well, that meant she had to go back home. She stood at the train station, and some kind young soldier got her on the train, because civilians couldn't get on, and he got her on. But I was off to Fort Benning. And from Fort Benning, I was headed for Europe as a second lieutenant in the infantry to replace a shortage of platoon leaders in Europe. That wasn't the best news. Anyway, got to Fort Meade. That was a replacement center, and for some reason, another blessing in my life, 3 of us were pulled off the orders, said we need another staff member here. And Fort Meade was the processing center for most of the troops going to Europe. It was a big institution. Well, I stayed there until the war ended. And then had a brief stint on the West Coast to process troops for the South Pacific. But then on a troop ship going across the Atlantic in the middle of winter. And I've heard them say you can't believe there's 100-foot waves, but there is. The ship I was on was 35,000 tons. And those waves, and this is the most scared I've ever been in my life. Those waves were high enough that that ship would go up over, tilt down on the far side, and the propeller and rudder of the back end was out of the water, spinning. And the word was, if that propeller hits the water, it could break. If it had broken, we would have I wouldn't have been here. But during the course of that storm, for some reason, our ship went off course for a minute or two, got sideways in the waves, and we were listing. We hit a 37-degree list. 3 more degrees and that ship would have capsized. Wow. Another blessing in my life was no one would have survived. Okay.
Not a question.
Okay.
Why am I up here?
Our daughter was born and moved to Texas. We followed, and my last remark will simply be this. We've been in a lot of church communities. We've had a lot of friends at those places, but none can match the friends and people that we've met here. Okay, and appreciate my brother and his family, and they're here. I'm still almost speechless. I about dropped my teeth when it. Okay, I'll shut up.
Sometimes it's trying to be a little, or sometimes it's Lord.
I saw a picture up here a while ago of a little lady. She's sort of on the heavy side. Her name was Mrs. Reeder. She was the house mother in the house that I lived in. She gave me a job to work for her for my room and board. And she was like my second mother. I just want to break tribute to that lady. Or do you remember her? Yeah. Okay. Thank you all for